into the solar plexus because we're not using gloves. I'm just coming in, we're stepping slightly off and knocking that off to the side. It's kind of an antenna or a feeler. As soon as we feel that arm there, then we know we're in range to hit with that punch. Not so much of a retraction like you see our other martial arts people doing. Higher stance for more mobility. And it's not a closed fist block, it's an open-handed parry. A little quicker that way, which I imagine you could pull off if you had gloves as well, because whether you have your hands open or in fists, wearing gloves, it's still making contact with. But karate would just kind of stand there like a bunch of blockheads instead of moving out of the way and take a long while to do this block and then counter punch like that. Yeah, let's see what we've got next. So next one we have Uchiuke and Uchiuke Gary. So that same block or parry that we did, only instead of counter punching, we're counter kicking with the side of the foot or side kick, the side blade of the foot. And we're not moving forward this time, we're moving back. Which might require some of that balance that we just did with the gym stick. So it's that same open-handed parry, only we're leaning back. Knocking that kick out, that punch out of the way, and sticking that side kick. And where's he? Yeah, that side kick, it looks like he's heading more towards the center, but I think I'd still rather be kicking towards the pelvis or the lower belly. I don't think kicking to the midsection is very good because you're just gonna either catch your leg and throw you or get it out of the way and counter you. So leaning back and parrying and sticking that side kick because your leg is a lot longer than your fist is. I'll take that easy because I just twinged my knee a little bit. So leaning back, parry, fitting that side kick in, and maybe you can do a snapping side kick instead of the thrusting one. I don't really have a best Shokutsuki, and it depends on which art I'm doing. So if it's Kyokushin, Shokutsuki, like there's Kizami off the lead leg, and Kyokushin, we retract here, so that would be the Shokutsuki from Kyokushin. Chokutsuki from Shorinji Kempo. There's a little more of a hip involved, and so it's not like a karate thing, block and stick that punch out there. Even though even if they're locking that punch, they have a micro bend in the elbow so as not to injure the elbow. when you're punching or hitting something solid. Oh well, different arts say theirs is the way, so. And that's the funny thing about Japanese. Chokutsuki just means straight punch or something like that. So karate chokutsuki with the horizontal fist, or chokutsuki with a vertical fist. Me, I kind of like the idea that they've got, because the standing body is this contour, to be hitting with the fist matching the contour of the standing body to hit things better. And in my self-defense, I recommend if people want to punch, I recommend that they use that non-twisted vertical fist punch anyway, because there's so many ways that beginners could go wrong with the standard martial art punch. If there's a slight angle in that wrist, snap. If it's slightly downward, snap. If it's one way, snap. It's the other. You're hitting with the wrong knuckles. You're twisting your wrist when you're hitting. And sometimes if you're wearing gloves, you can't exactly see that alignment with the gloves on. And you know how not fun that is, because that messes up your wrist, goes all the way up into your forearm, messes up your forearm, maybe your elbow, and even the shoulder, just all the way up if you have the wrong alignment. And now you got to wear a cast on your wrist or something, lots of physiotherapy. So let's see, is there another? Yeah, I think just pretty much chokutsuki is pretty much the same, just a straight forward punch. And of course they can get different heights to it. High, middle, low, lockouts for snapping. So that was, it was okay. And then Yoko Gary, okay Gary. Let's go on to the next one. 6 months, yeah, that sounds about right. Because there's such tiny little bones in the wrist here. It's very easy to get the wrong alignment. Whereas here, I think it's a little more solid. There might be a little giveaway this way or that way, but if you're doing a good strong thrust, it doesn't really matter if you're hitting with the full part of the fist or the knuckles. I think this is the more stable alignment than trying to punch or teach people how to punch like that. And here there's not so much of a wrist. Some people add a little bit of a wrist twist, but it's not the full over one that martial arts generally teaches. Just a little bit of a whatever comes out. Soto Uketsuki. So it's blocking, repairing to the other side, and doing that counter punch. The counter punch is pretty much the same. It's that same chokutsuki, that same straight punch. Only we're parrying to the other side. And I can see, because sometimes the Shorinji Kempo people, they train with body armor on. It's kind of like a modified kendo armor with a thick shell on the chest. And they wear like head gear and things. Yeah, and then you punch bad like that just once, and now you can't really do much with it except the parry, and you don't want to cause too much injury on that once it's messed up. And you got to learn to be the one arm boxer. So yeah, broken wrists, no fun. Bad alignment on a punch. But on to that other So we did that parry to that one side and counter punch. This time we're kind of wrapping around like that and punching at the same time. So it's not like karate where you do this kind of thing, 1, 2, 1, and we wind up from here to 1, 2. This one's a simultaneous parry. That punching arm is coming in, getting off the line. The arm is catching it and parrying it off, but not too far out, just enough to clear off of you, glancing while you do that counter punch. And hopefully you're hitting, ideally you're hopefully hitting the floating ribs. You're not hitting the front of the body, but still, you can still hit the ribs of that person punching at you. So. And again, we're not just going straight in, and because that kind of parry really wouldn't seem to work if you're just going straight line in. Sure, if you're offensive and straight line in, that would make sense, but doing a parry, so boom, and that kind of motion. So hopefully that wouldn't take too much fine motor skills. Hopefully that would be the gross motor skill that you could do in times of stress, and then following up. And by all means, they're just showing that straight punch, but there's not to say you couldn't hook that or hook punch when you're doing that. They're just, as an educated case or prearranged sequence, they're just doing that punch. But by all means, since the gun coming straight in, you could punch hook instead of straight. Your hook, you'd have to be a little bit closer in. You have a little more range with that straight punch. So there's always modifications to be had. See what's the next sequence, and by all means, I'm doing it off the one side, but you should be able to do it off the other side as well. So generally, if they're parrying to that side, they have an open hand. If they're parrying to the other side, they have kind of using the forearm for that parry, that kind of motion. Now let's see what the next sequence is. Okay, so it's that same parry now. This time we're counter kicking. Sotuke Gary. So before we were doing that parry to that one side and punching. This time I'm going to do that parry. And it looks like it's a kick. It's not the side kick. It's kind of, they've got weird terminology in Shorinji Kempo. So just a primer on their terminology. So Chokutsuki would be a static punch. Chokugari would be a static kick. So Junski is that lead leg. So whether the leg is out in front, that's the punch that's coming out. So that'd be Junski. Gyokutsuki would be the opposite hand coming out. So Junski, Gyokutsuki. So generally that Gyokutsuki would be Usually when you parried off that front leg and counter punched, that would be the gyaku. The jin would be just that straight. So jin ski, gyaku ski, jin gari, lead leg kick, gyaku gari, back leg kick, because jin's kind of like a short range technique. The gyaku would be something where you're covering more distance. So going back to that, so we did that, we did this one. So now this time we're doing that same motion, that same blocking motion, but this time counter kicking. And like I said, they're kind of showing, I think, towards the midsection, which is what I prefer anyway. I wouldn't try and, I mean, I can kick to somebody's chest, but I find it a lot more efficient to kick to the pelvis and knock somebody down as opposed to kicking to their chest, or they grab your leg, or they knock your leg out of the way and maybe counter kick you. So short, lower level kicks, quicker. Their eyes are up here, your leg is down there. Not so telegraphed, quicker, and you're not going off balance as much. So that's why I prefer kind of those lower level kicks. So boom, parrying that off to the side. And I think it's the gyaku gari. I think it's that longer kick in the yeah, it is the rear leg kick after that parry. And I'm doing it, breaking it down, but ideally you want to do that all in one fluid motion off their line of attack. So you wouldn't obviously be hitting them perpendicular force. It'd be kind of hitting them off to the side, which can destabilize them a little bit more than if you were kicking to their front. You're moving off and hitting them at an angle with either your fist or your foot at an angle instead of straight on. Do that a few more times, so a nice relaxed kamae. By all means, if you need to use the Western thing, by all means. But they usually have a hand down because they want someone to grab that so they can do an arm bar or a wrist twist or a throw or something. So that's why they offer that hand down in front. Or boom, flick to the eyes, and kick. So boom, kick. Parry, kick. Even though that was a little bit high. Parry, kick. Let me just alter the angle of my camera. And do 2 more times, and then I'll now, compared to some karate thing, I think this would be greater test of balance, but I think it would be a quicker counter, even if they were punching at you. So now I'm going to show a sequence of punch attacks and defenses that they have in Shorinji Kempo. So Tenjiken Daike, they call it. Boom. So lead leg punch, other hand punch, arm comes up, hook punch, upper parry, middle parry, lower parry, counter kick. Do that 2 more times, and then we'll do that with a pole. So punch, punch, hook punch, whichever position, if you want to use that way or punch that way. So punch, punch, hook punch, upper parry, middle parry, lower parry, lower parry. Once you've done that lower parry, then move the hand out of the way so that you're not jamming your own counter kick, and it's protecting the groin at the same time that you're doing that counter kick. And you still kind of have that shoulder that you can do a shoulder block with. So one more time, punch, and they're kind of actually stepping off that line again. So now we'll do that with the pole in our hands. It has been adapted to use a pole. So thrust, swing, upper swing, block, block, block one way, block the other way, or something like that. Boom. Yeah. Thrust. It's the first motion. Thrust. Swing. Clear that out of the way and upward swing. Block. Block. Lower parry. Kick. And back to the center. So, thrust. Swing. Upward swing. Block. Now you could do lower block here and then lower block here and then counter kick. But if you have a weapon in your hands, I don't think you really need to worry about kicking because your weapon would out of the reach, and if your weapon gets dinged, it's not going to hurt. Whereas if your leg or foot get hit or blocked, that could be painful for you. But either way, one, and it might actually be a lockout thrust, 2, 1, 2, 3. Back to that middle of the posture, that Shudan Kamai. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Kick. And I think that's enough for me for today. Got a bit of a sweat, got some moving in. And I think that was a better practice than doing that block-headed, slow-ass karate. Okay, just about an hour. That's not bad. Thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. Let me put my Ko-fi link up again. Watch everything slowly first, and then if you want to follow along, but be careful and always breathe. Don't hold your breath. Consult your trusted healthcare practitioner before beginning this or any other exercise program. Maybe I'll see if there's someone I can raid on Twitch, and if not, I'll just end stream. I've got an important meeting at 6, so I got a little bit of time to have a quick shower and get ready for the meeting. Yeah, I got a good sweat on. So that was just one of the Shorinji Kempo. I'm just picking that up because I train in other martial arts, but I like to cross-train or try and challenge myself and adapt myself to other martial arts to see if I can do it, or just see what the differences are and see what the similarities are, see if there's anything I can adopt into my own personal practice. Understand when you do someone else's art, it kind of makes you understand why you do the one that you do, or understand why they do what they do. They might have a reasoning behind it, and try and find, is one way better than the other, or is there an optimal way to do a particular technique? I don't like to do shadow boxing because there was a study done, not to mention my Baker's cyst, but shadow boxing, if you're not hitting anything solid, you have this tendency to overextend and can strain your joints. It's a lot healthier if you have some kind of resistance. So if you're hitting a bag or pads so that you're not overextending and causing injury to the joints. So I don't like to shadow box, even though I know to like keep a micro bend in my arm during punching. But yeah, I'd rather like hit a bag or hit some pads, actually make contact instead of just swinging at the air. That's just where I've come to. So especially with a knee injury now, I don't want to kick at an empty air and mess it up. At least too much air boxing or whatever, shadow boxing. So let's see if who else is doing health and fitness right now to raid. I'll take a quick shower and then I've got my meeting at 6. Fitness and health, 341 viewers. Let's see who's IRL with fitness and health. Okay. Lots of weights, strength training going on, glute workout. Viking workout, weights. I don't really see anything similar like martial arts at all. Gentle morning yoga, but like I said when I was ranting, I don't think yoga works the way it was intended to. Maybe it's being taught incorrectly, so I don't stream yoga anymore. I'm going to find a different way of stretching. Not really anybody. Let's see. Anybody that's doing any other martial arts at this particular point. But there is someone doing a chill stream, so maybe we'll take this action and balance it off with some relaxation. Why is it doing that? Technical difficulties. Come on. Target channel has disabled raids. Okay, well, I'm just going to end stream then. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. Take care, and we'll see you again.